So, as you can tell by the title, mate, this video is the Premier Inn experience. Hotels versus hostels. Now, I was going to, as I said, I am going to be making that series. I am making it. And obviously this trip as well has helped me collect lots of footage, which I won't put into the video because then I could just leave it as a separate edit. So it's fine. But aside from that, I'm going to be uploading this video as a separate video just while I'm here, because yeah, I'm in the room, and yeah, it's much better I actually show you what I'm talking about rather than just having to try and explain it on an edited video via slideshow or voiceover or recycling old clips that I've already used. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a room tour, and then I'm going to give you just a little rundown of like my thoughts, and just do a little review basically, and yeah. So here goes. So we start by straight away, as you spin round, putting your key in, because that powers your electric. I'm just I was getting a bit loud, and I was just as I was opening the door to film the shot, the guy was like, "Keep the noise down, mate, please." But he was fine. He was nice about it. Anyway, so I'm just gonna, yeah, not get too gassed and too hyped. But that's something I will move on to. Actually, funny that happened, because that's something I'm going to move on to. So here we have the room. Now, for me, this room is a very old room because, like, for example, like, what can I show you? Okay, let's just show you around the room first. So you've got your mirror, and then you've got a hairdryer. You've got the clothes hangers, shelving unit there. Then you've got spare pillows, and then you've got these plugs, and then you've got the tea making facilities, so kettle. You've got some PG tips there. The milk, tea making facilities, you see what it is. Cups. There's a bin down there, but I use my own and then throw it out on the street bins, just because it's just, if you're staying for a long period of time, it's just better that way. Anyway, I'll move on to that. A cupboard drawer here. Sometimes you get a safe as well. And then we'll move on to the bathroom. The light from the bathroom is always on the outside. So this is the bathroom. And obviously I like to hang my stuff there. And then you've got the toilet there. And you've got the bed. Now it's important to notice this top piece here, and this here, and also these little side benches, and underneath the side benches, it's also important to notice, because I'll move on to that in a moment. I've got a plug in that one, that's me, but there's another one there. You've got this side table as well, which is obviously loose, and I'll move on to that. And then you've got this separate, like, bed, futon, sofa, couch, whatever you want to call it, there. And then you've got obviously the TV, a desk area, chair, obviously information about the hotel and the food downstairs, safety, fire instructions, curtains, blackout curtains, very important to point out. And my view is a car park. But again, something to point out, which I'll move on to, no fucking windows, mate, so you can't open the window. Now, okay, so now I've given you the room tour, you kind of know what we're working with. I'm just gonna, also, sorry, something also I forgot to mention, you've got a fan slash AC slash heater unit here, which is controlled by this pad here on the wall. And then obviously it's got some instructions as well, which is quite handy, because sometimes they're a real ball ache to operate. But yeah, so okay, so first things first, I haven't got no fucking writing material or anything, so you just have to bear with me. I'm going to go through Premier Inn and what I think of them as a corporation, and then I'm going to go through the services that they offer, and then yeah, as I go through that, I'll inc- incorporate my own personal experiences that I've had at Premier Inn. So Premier Inn is my go-to place, and by the way, this is not a sponsored video. Premier Inn is my go-to place, like literally. Premier Inn is my go-to place. Although if you want to hit your boy up, then you can just look at my booking record and you see I'm not chatting shit. But Premier Inn is my go-to place, like literally that's my go-to place, and yeah, it's saved me on many occasions. And the thing that I like about it is it's always affordable and they're everywhere, and you get the same. Apart from what I'll talk about, but I'll move on to that. You get the same room no matter where you go. It's just always a standard room, unless you're specifically asking for double, family, disabled, or twin, or single, depending on what you want. But you're always going to get the same room, same furniture, same style, layout, color, design, everything. So I like that about it because it's just consistent, as opposed to other chains, Holiday Inn, Travel Lodge. Travel Lodge I was in for quite a bit of time, and yeah, it's just not really saying much. Like, and then obviously there's the more expensive hotels, but it's like, okay, yeah, you got all like the niceties and the luxuries, but I don't. If you want that when you're going for a hotel, then fine. But when I stay at a hotel, I don't actually mind like the basics. Just, do you know what I mean? Self catering, and do you know what I mean? They just leave you to your own devices. I don't like to stay somewhere and people are constantly knocking on your door and, oh, can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? Yeah, that's nice. Don't get me wrong, to be waited on, but sometimes I just like to be left alone and just do my own thing. Like, do you know what I mean? So I like the simplicity of it. So it's nice and cheap and cheerful, but not in a bad way. In terms of you're not going to be like losing out. If anything, it can only get better. Like, it can only get better, but you're not going to be wasting any money. You get full full value for your money. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next part, the building. So the building, this building specifically, I'm currently at a Liverpool branch, just down from Central Station, and the building. This is an older building in terms of their rooms, because the more modern buildings, which I prefer, you've got, so okay, so let me go around with the modern buildings now. This is where I talk about the differences. Okay, so you've got the bed here, right? And then you've got this board, this headboard. Now the modern buildings, this headboard, it's still purple, but it's like, it's just a different texture, and it's just more flat. It's not that kind of material. It is, but it's just a bit, it's more different and it's more modern, and that's just a bit old and just like worn basically. That, I don't know, I just been sport with the new design. And then also they've got a bar, a blue bar that shines up on the top here, so that's controlled by those left hand lights that you see over there, and that's the blue bar. Whereas they don't have that, which is an older room. Now on the flip side of that, the positive side about the older rooms is that normally you can open a window because it's an older building, so therefore you can get fresh air in, and obviously that ventilates the room, which leads me on to my next point of, you don't have to use this fan, because okay, yeah, fine, it will cool down the room and it will heat up the room, but there's nowhere for the stale air to go. So if you're staying in these places for long periods of time, it's just really muggy and stuffy, like literally, and it's just, yeah, it's not really the one. So I just turn it off and leave it, and then obviously sometimes I'll leave the door open if I'm here, or if housekeeping are going, I'll leave it open while they're doing their thing, and then that's an excuse for me to it's an excuse for me to leave the door open, and obviously they're walking them down, so I know. But anyway, that's the only thing I'd say. That's the annoying part of it. Like, it's just, yeah. Anyway, so the light bar is what I prefer, because obviously over night time you can just switch off both of those and just have the light bar on. If you're into watching television it's obviously perfect because it just goes straight up right on the back of your peripheral vision, and then obviously you can then watch TV. I'm not an avid TV watcher, but times gone by it's nice to sort of, do you know what I mean, snuggle up and lay down in bed, should you be so lucky. Now, so the right and left hand side, so can you take notice of these fittings, mate? Look at these fittings. These are a really old set of fittings. Like they don't make these fittings on the new Premier Inns, mate. Like, and it's not a big deal, but it's just dated from when how hotels used to look. And because everything's going so modern, we don't even notice how quickly things like can move forward. And again, here, this plug here, the white plugs. It's just, I don't know, they're just really dated. But this is what they put them in. They put them all like that now. And also, with the plugs, another thing I want you to notice is that there's no plugs underneath here. In the modern ones, you have a plug here and a USB. And then you have a plug on this side and a USB. And then get rid of that table because it's just like, I don't know, these sort of bedside tables, I don't like them in hotels because they just harbour germs. That's all it's there for. I wouldn't use that or put my stuff on it. Like, okay, yeah, you can wipe it down yourself, but I just don't see the point in it. And then also, you've got a bedside table here, but it's better to have it on both just for convenience, depending on which side you want to roll over. If you're watching your phone or computer or doing whatever you're doing. This is also good if you're having guests around. Then obviously you can cater for guests, and yeah, you can also officially, I think you can actually have people in your room that are not staying up until 11 o'clock. Don't quote me on that, but I think that is the rules. Also, tea making facilities, like I never use these kettles because again, people are dirty, like you just don't know what's in it, so I just never bother. But it is there, and obviously in an emergency, and if you want it and you're that way inclined, then yeah, fine. Again, the same goes for the tea making facilities. Cups, again, the bin I never use because it's better to just because of the ventilation, as I've spoken about, it's better to just have your own bin once that's full. Obviously I had some McDonald's tonight, and then I'll just throw that on the street bin, as I said. Like I said, there's normally in the newer rooms there's a safe or in one of these boxes, and you can just tuck your stuff away, but I never have anything of value, and the stuff I do have of value I never lock away and then lose them, so I probably should use the safe, but yeah, there is no safe on this occasion. But you have got a drawer, shoe drawer and all of that, so if you are staying for long periods of time, especially when I have been living in Premier Inn, I've been working, so it's nice to have somewhere to hang up your clothes, and so you can actually have a neat sort of living space rather than just living out of a bag. Hairdryer, but I don't really need one. Got the mirror there, and then the fire procedures on the back, and you've also got a little peephole that you can see through, which is also a nice touch, so if anyone comes knocking you can see. And you've also got the sign on the door, which I always like to flip around. And also, guys, they do have locks in hotels. A lot of people don't use the lock. Bathroom is always sort of the same. This one is slightly smaller because obviously if you have a disabled room, you'll have a slightly bigger room and a slightly bigger shower, and the door will be slightly wider. So yeah, I mean, I prefer a normal room, and again, I do my own sort of cleaning and that, and then obviously you can have a bath or whatever, freshen up in there. Yeah, that's it really. Oh yeah, the only thing is though, obviously using this bathroom and obviously ventilation, I'm not going to get into detail, but do you know what I mean? You gotta you gotta be mindful about, yeah, what you're doing, but otherwise it's alright. It's alright. What else do I want to point out before I talk about the experiences? Oh, the bed, of course, the fucking bed. How could I forget the bed? Right, so yeah, the bed is double Hypnos bed, which is the most comfiest bed known to man. No, it's, I don't know by facts, but I'm just saying it's a very comfortable bed, and you're literally guaranteed a good night's sleep. You're guaranteed a good night's sleep on one of these beds. So, with me saying you're guaranteed a good night's sleep, there was the adverts with Lenny Henry, and obviously he always would say that was the thing, guaranteed a good night's sleep or your money back, guaranteed a good night's sleep, and you do always get a good night's sleep. Like, it's just, oh mate, this particular hotel is obviously in Liverpool, so it's quite noisy and like rowdy. So the corridor is like busy anyway. So like apart from that, depending on the area, but the Premier in itself, like on the plus side of the no windows, they're soundproofed. So there's no street traffic. So if you are in the city centre, which I am, you literally can't hear anything off the road, and I'm surrounded by nightclubs, and you can't hear anything at all. So the soundproofing of the building and the rooms in general is really good, unless obviously you're in the hallway, because obviously you can hear me talking, and obviously if they're in the corridor and people are shouting or whatever, then you can hear them. But other than that, like, yeah, you're alright, mate. Like, you're alright. So the next thing, so with the corporate thing, it does what it says on the tin. They don't lie. Like, they don't lie. So you're gonna pay £35 on a weekday, roughly, depending on your area, to 150 to 140, 140 to £150 on a weekend per night. So just depending on when you're staying, where you stay, when you've booked it, if you booked it in advance, if you booked flexible or not flexible, standard room, whatever you've booked, like, will depend, but it's always going to be at an affordable price, like, literally, and obviously the more you book, the cheaper it is. So that's how I book in bulk, like in blocks of sort of 4, 7, and obviously months sometimes at a time if I'm working and need somewhere consistent to stay. It's always a reliable place. Um, what else? What else? What else? Anything else I want to say about the room? No, not really. Other than just it's just an older Premier Inn, so like you will notice the difference. Like once you've been to like quite a few different Premier Inns, you'll notice like the different like layouts and styles and like the newer carpet. Like just the small things that you'll notice in a hotel room, which is nice, especially if you're staying there. Sorry, continuing on my memory. But yeah, so what I was saying, it's nice with the little things like the carpet if you're staying for long periods of time, and then just it's just nice just to stay in there. Whereas if the room's a bit old and just a bit like squeaky and damp, like some Premier Inns I've been in, like super old, like old design, like they've kept the original building, and it's just like it smells like a church cupboard. Literally, you know that smell of old books, like literally. So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, no complaints about the rooms. Like you're always gonna get the same quality of room, and then, like I say, it's down to you to clean yourself if you want it to be extra clean. But with COVID, the rules have changed because obviously they don't come in to clean your room. You've got a request. But I think if you stay for longer than 2 nights anyway, you have to come and tell them to clean the room. Otherwise, they'll just leave you to it. And like I say, it's just self catering, which is what I like about it. Okay, right. So now, moving on, basically, yeah, to my own personal experiences and what I like about the Premier Inn, the pros and the cons, hotels versus hostels. So, what the main thing that I like about it is just the self catering, but the fact is just a single room on your own. Whereas in a hostel, you have maybe, well, it's up to 30 people in a room. I've stayed in a 32 bedroom dorm before, but normally it's like 6 man minimum per dorm, and then 12 is like lucky because sometimes the smaller ones are always filled up really quickly. So the bigger ones are always going to be left over. So if you get 12 man, then that's sort of, yeah, it's reasonable. So for me, and it's like mixed as well, like it's like mixed dorm. So it just depends on like like where you are and who you're staying with. Like it's just potluck. Like sometimes people are alright, sometimes they're not. So there's been a few times where I've stayed in hostels and stayed with some real crazy people, And there was this one woman that she was old, like she was older, like she was like mid 40s, like she was an adult, and she just had her own issues, and like she kept like chatting to herself and that in the middle of the night, and like everyone was like listening to her speaking, and no one would say anything, and then one night we all just started laughing and just joking about it, and then in the morning she was like really angry with everyone and just was like saying she was gonna cast spells on us and all of this, and then one of the girls like started crying that was in our room, but the guys were just laughing it off because we just thought she was just some crazy old lady. And yeah, so she was like, I'm moving. She moved. Someone else moved in, and then she started like saying like all her weird spell shit, and then she threatened to kill us all in our sleep, that same day. And then obviously everyone was like, oh, like we all had like a massive thing about it, like a meeting, like to talk about it and say, no, she's got to get kicked out. Because at first we just thought like she had problems, so we was just letting it slide. But she was weird. But yeah, she said she was gonna kill us all. We was like, no, that's it. So the point is, it's nice when you're not staying with crazy people and you can just come and go as you please, and you don't have to tiptoe around people, because that is a real issue when you've just fucking landed somewhere or got to a destination, and then you then got to like creep in the room, like as you open the door, like creak your bags down, like creak up ladders if you're on a bunk bed. Like, yeah, it's long. It's all kinds of long. Whereas here, you just straight in the lift, up the stairs, and that's it. Done. You're in your room, and yeah, you can just do whatever you want and be as loud as you want, excluding the guy that said I was being loud when I was chatting. But that happens. So yeah, I talk loud. But otherwise, yeah, the people just leave you to your own devices. And like I said, he wasn't horrible about it, and they don't kick off about things. Like they're quite tolerant. Like, and as I said, you can bring people back, and yeah, it's not a problem. Um, yeah, like that's it really. Like that's it. And that. So also, I like the fact of, okay, well, this is where one of the cons I'd say about a hotel is that food. So okay, I say self catering, but some like hotel apartment style rooms will have cooking facilities within them, but Premier Inn is not one of those ones. So you have to go out and eat out all the time, every time, unless you're going to buy dry goods or non-perishables and bring them back to the room. And also, obviously, there's always cafeterias downstairs, beefeater, so you can get food from downstairs as well. So you've obviously got a restaurant and dining area, so you can use that as your dinner area. But again, it's going to cost money. I mean, the same with eating out. To be fair, it's both like expensive, depending on what you eat, obviously. But yeah, it's going to add up eventually because you've got to eat at some point. So um, that's the only thing I'd say is a bit annoying sometimes, especially not like a couple nights. It's fine if you're just on holiday, but if you're actually staying in them long term and you're working or whatever, then yeah, that can be a bit of a ball ache having to eat out all the time, especially if you're working and you've just done a overnight or you've got to go to work, then just need something quick. You haven't got time to like cook, or and they don't let you have microwaves in here because of health and safety and all that. So which is fine. That's not an issue. But yeah, excuse me, sorry. But yeah. So what else do I want to say? Mm. As well as to go out, you've got the freedom to be in your room. Like, do you know what I mean? You've got a room to yourself. Electricity, internet. Internet always works. Like, never have a problem with the internet here. Obviously, so that's good if you're doing business or making videos. Then obviously you've got running water and bathroom and that constantly. A toilet, which is just you using the toilet. As I said, ventilation ain't great. So, but yeah, you've got a toilet and it's just you using that toilet. And again with the shower, it's just you using that shower. You don't have to wait for anyone. Like, it's just a lot better just to straight away boom. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I'd always stay in the Premier Inn, and I'd always choose the hotel because, I mean, I've done the hostels now, but then when you compare the two, the only thing I'd say is better about hostels than staying in a hotel is obviously you get to meet people, and that's really good because everyone's traveling and you can go out and like, especially on day trips and like, I don't know, things that you wouldn't normally do. that might cost a lot of money, but if there's lots of you going, you all share in the room or staying in the same building, then you can just split the price and then go together. So that's always good, and you always know you're coming back in the same place. So, but then obviously if you don't get on with those people, and then you've then got to sleep with them and live with them in that same quarters and eat with them in the whole same thing, it's very like close together. Whereas here, like your neighbours change all the time, and you don't really know anyone, unless obviously it's like Friday or Saturday night, and people make a point of like being in the hallway and running up and down, and obviously you might chat to them as they're making noise. But yeah, and then do you know what I mean? You end up chilling. But other than that, like, yeah, it's fine. Like it's fine. You don't really hear from your neighbours. What else? What else? What else? Building itself, some of the Premier Inns are quite tall buildings. So this building is 6 floors. Mm, yeah, 6 floors, and I'm on the third floor, so I'm not too high up. But like I said, I've only got the view of a car park, so it's not really that. It doesn't add or detract anything for me. But when you do get a good view, it is sick to look over the city from a room, a Premier Inn room, because obviously you've got the skyline view of what you would get from an expensive hotel, but for like a fraction of the price, and obviously your own home comforts. So yeah. What else? Mm, reception is 24 hours. Reception, everyone on reception is always alright. Like it's just the company like policies and that, or just how they train their staff. I guess it's just, yeah, I like it. It's just calm, relaxed, like always helpful. Like you don't have to worry about asking for things. They don't charge you as well if you ask for stuff. That's always a good one. You don't want to have to, because sometimes if you're on a budget, especially if you're traveling abroad, and currency and exchange rate, and you set this amount for the accommodation, and then you've then got to pay an extra fiver for a hotel, or an extra fiver for this, fiver for that. Sometimes you even got to pay for your room key as well. You got to pay €10 deposit for your room key some places. So, and even in England in the hostels, sometimes they do that. You've got to pay a £10 deposit for the key. So it's good that you just get a free key, and you can get as many as, well, I say as many as you want, but within reason. But yeah, you can get as many as you want free of charge. So that's also another bonus point that just comes with the fact of just staying in the hotel. And it's warm, like constant heating all the time. Like it's always going to be warm in here. Like you don't have to think about anything. Like, you just know you're going to go in, boom, it's warm straight away. So, mm. What else? I think that's it. Oh, I'll mention it again. The blackout blinds. It's good to keep the light out, and obviously there's the car park there with all the lights on, and you can't even see it coming through the windows at all. And obviously, like I said, I've worked nights when I've stayed in Premier Inn, so it's nice that when you come back during the day, you can actually close the curtains and sleep. You don't have to worry about, oh, the sun's going to be coming through the window, and curtains, and the traffic, and things like that. So again, it's good. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, it's just a relaxation, isn't it? It's just a hotel room. I mean, I'm only talking when I promote the hotel. I'm only talking temporarily, like a week at a time or something. But longer than a week, then yeah, obviously you're gonna have your own things. But obviously, actually no, because to combat that or to counteract that, um, it's not a problem for you to move rooms as well. That would be allowed. So if you said to them that obviously you'd been staying in one room for a long period of time and you wanted to change rooms, just to obviously change rooms, then if that room was available, then they would allow you to change rooms. Like that wouldn't be a problem. I've done that before. And yeah, so and obviously during when I was staying during COVID, you had to change rooms anyway to clean them. So they wouldn't keep you in the same room. So they would come in and make sure they're cleaning the rooms. What else? I can make videos. Literally, I can make videos. I can sit here. I can chat. I can think. Literally, I can't smoke, but it's not a problem. I can go outside to smoke. Um, yeah, some places don't have a smoking area with like benches and that outside the front of the hotel, but on this occasion I don't, so I just stand. Well, there is a bus stop actually, which I've only just noticed tonight, but yeah, or you can just stand outside. There's a little smoking square where people just lean against the building with an ashtray. But yeah, mm, that's it really. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, sometimes I like to in a bigger room. Sometimes the rooms are just laid out differently, so it's bigger, and I like to turn the bed and then put it in the middle of the room. But otherwise, yeah, you can have your own little sort of setup, and obviously, I put it back when I leave for the staff. Otherwise, it's long if housekeeping. I've got to move back the furniture after I've moved it, so I try and put it back in the same place. In fact, I do put it back. I don't try. I do put it back. But otherwise, yeah, I'd like to change the room up a little bit, but I'm not in a living environment on this trip or on this stay. I'm just on a trip, so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, I think. But yeah, hotels versus hostels. It's been a bit of a short video. It feels like it's been a short video, but there's not really much to say about it. But it's decent to stay in hotels basically, and I wanted to give the Premier Inn experience because obviously I always stay in Premier Inn, so I might as well just make a video like a little mini tutorial. If there's any questions or things that I haven't answered, then yeah, I'm sure you could just leave it in the sections, the comment section. But otherwise, yeah. Thanks for watching.